Hi, I'm Lindsay, and this is Kinda Healthy Podcast. Today I'm here with my husband Vince, and I just wanted to talk about some topics that have come up over the week. One of the things I saw this week was stop assigning a moral value to your food. Foods aren't good or bad. There's no naughty foods. Stop looking at it that way. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to, associate food with, personality.
Yeah, or punishment or reward type of thing.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's what you do with it.
Yeah, and to make it like an off-limits or forbidden thing makes it oddly appealing and weird when you finally get it too, because then you're like off track and you might not have it this much, so you're like go all in on it, when really it doesn't have to be a big deal. If you looked at it as just like something you could have anytime if you really wanted, would you really devour it?
It makes it like a taboo, like a lustful thing. Like you need to, I really want that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, because I like to get those cupcakes from that cupcake place in town. I don't know. I mean, it's not that big a deal when you actually eat it, but like the thinking about, I want to get one of those,
right,
making it into
It almost makes it worse even, because once you get it, then it's like, doesn't really live up to that, then you want more of it, right? Because it's like, the one just isn't enough. I mean, I need like 3 to actually make the expectation.
Oh my God, I don't do that.
No, I know, but it's easy to get into that mind space. Ooh, I need to make this live up to what I wanted.
Yeah. But geez, if you need 3 of them to make it live up to what you wanted, that first one wasn't that good, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I look at them like a special treat or reward for something, because I don't want to not have any reason, so you could just get them anytime for nothing. I like to earn my stuff, to give myself some kind of a goal that I have to come to before I do it. And then, I mean, I know that they're probably high in calories and all that stuff, so then even the thought of actually doing it is kind of scary, because I'm like, well, now that's really going to screw me up, do I actually want to do that? So then that's why it's easy for me to wait like 4 months in between having one. But I think I've gotten to the point where even having it isn't even that big of a deal, because I'm not really limiting what I have. I'm not being strict about if I can eat carbs or this or that, I mean, like sugar is definitely pretty much off the table for a lot of reasons. But the main one is just is that I know that when I have it, then I just start wanting it more. So it's better just to have it not be an option. But yeah, I think since I'm not restricting things, I'm not trying to be low carb or something like that, that having that isn't that special. I mean, because I could have, a little cinnamon roll on the weekend and, it's just part of my food for the day. It's not like this means that, I have to change the whole thing. I feel like if you don't make foods into bad foods and off-limit foods, that, that when you have them, it doesn't seem like this big, being off track type of deal.
And all foods have their benefits too. Like you can't just cut out all of something.
Yeah, I mean, that works short term to get quick results and stuff, but for actual lifestyle,
right, it's not sustainable.
Right. Yeah, because I know that a few years back when I wasn't counting calories or anything. I was just doing the watching my portions of things and following that portion teller book. So you're given, you have so many servings of proteins, good fats, carbs, all those things a day. But then within those categories, it's more about good, better, or best. So, I mean, if you really kind of didn't want to have a whole grain or steel cut oats or something like that for your breakfast, you could pick just having a piece of toast or, maybe a cereal or something like that.
Right. Without
getting too hung up on things. But if you wanted to change your options here and there, you could, and it's still, there's more health benefits in this choice than that choice. But ultimately, you can just pick and move along with your day. So I was doing that for a while and it was going really good. I wasn't having any kind of cravings because I wasn't having off-limit stuff, you know, and things like that. Then I saw my brother and he mentioned, you know, have you seen Dad lately? He looks really good. He lost like 20 pounds doing like low carb or like Atkins. And I wanted to lose a little bit more weight. It wasn't a lot, but I was like, dang, I'll do that, you know? And then as soon as I did that, it totally like, it screwed me up big time. And it made me want to binge on things that I wasn't supposed to be having, you know, like cookies or like having chips or like as soon as anything like that turns into like a no-no for me, it's pretty bad. So having even tried that for I don't know how long, you know, it could have been a couple weeks or a month or whatever. But that was enough to spin me out of control, and I didn't lose any weight. I ended up probably gaining like 30 because it just had me all out of whack. Do you have any foods that you know you try to make off limit for you, but you know ultimately it's better to just try to treat it normally?
I don't. Like, I've never really, like, I've tried things with you.
Yeah.
But I've never really felt like cutting things completely out would work for me. I know that it hasn't and doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that ever works for me is basically a lot of work.
A lot
Physical work.
Yeah. Moving helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we tried the whole low carb thing, when we were in our 20s or something like that? We would make that meatloaf with the jalapenos in it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then having the grapefruits in the morning and everything with that. All that stuff's turned so repetitive. Like, how could you not get tired of doing that?
Right.
Even if you liked the foods.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Having your options so limited all the time and everything just becomes so monotonous.
And then, like, jumping into it, too, not knowing the health benefits or risks completely. Just knowing that, this worked a little bit for so-and-so. Maybe I'll try it. But you're not really... You don't know enough of it yourself. You don't know what could go wrong. You don't know...
Right. Yeah, not really knowing the health... Well, the only health benefit you're concerned with is it going to make me lose weight, right?
Right.
But, like, not even giving any thought to what could be any kind of health risks or factors that you need to be aware of in doing it.
Right.
It's so easy just to jump into something. And especially since you see other people doing it, you can almost take that as like an endorsement as, you know,
right. I
this
mean,
is
like,
good to do.
Like, you would never think of, like, pH levels and how fucked up does that get your pH levels? I mean, you're eating acidic fruit and you're eating only meat and cheese and no carbohydrate. It's got to get you all out of whack, right?
Yeah, because it's easy if you have an imbalance to one side of the scale or the other. It's really easy to start making changes that are actually in the direction that you need to go. But if you keep heading that direction too long, you'll go past and you'll start heading into too much of that. So if you're like talking about the pH scale, you know, you're having your alkaline and you're having your acidic over here, and in the middle is where you want to sit to have a balance of it. But like if you're doing stuff and you need to get your system to speed up, so you're doing stuff, moving yourself towards the acidic side of the scale, you'll notice that things are improving and getting better, and then you'll want to continue those behaviors. But if you continue those behaviors past the point of the degree that you needed it, then you'll just be in a bad place on the other end.
Right, because once you get the ball rolling in that direction, there's got to be something to stop it.
Right, and that's why it's an issue you need to consider when you're getting advice from somebody of something working for them so much. You have to understand that they had their own baseline of health that they were dealing with to begin with that could be different from yours to start with. It's just how long have they been doing it? Have they really been doing it long enough to see any adverse side effects from the behavior going long term?
Right.
So like with the alkaline and the acid, the alkaline is more like slow moving. So if you start moving yourself to the acidic side, you'll notice things will start moving along better. One of the downfalls of that is like your system not moving. And so stuff sitting inside of you too long, things aren't making their way out. And when they're not making their way out, your body can start to reabsorb bad things. Right. You know, you'll have nasty stuff sitting in you and your body will start to reabsorb it because it's sitting in there so long. So if you start moving yourself to the acidic side, things will start moving. You'll feel like, oh, this is what I needed. I'm getting more regular. You know, whatever I'm doing now is what I need to keep doing.
Right.
From here on out. But you can stick with that so long that you get yourself to the other side. And with the acidic side, it's an issue of things moving too quickly for you to even absorb the nutrients you need to. It's kind of like thinking of a conveyor belt going. And at first, first it was slow. Mm-hmm. And things were sitting there and going bad. Then you started to be able to get it to move at a good pace. And things were kind of in balance. You know, things were leaving when they needed to, and things had enough time to absorb into your nutrients, had time to absorb into your system. But if you keep speeding it up, keep doing the behaviors to make it speed up faster and faster and faster, you're going to get yourself to the point where things are moving too fast to even be good for you. Things are going to be going in and coming out before you even have the opportunity to take any nutrients
snowball,
in.
Right? Like you keep adding.
Right. And sometimes when people are excited about improvements happening, they're really excited to tell everybody, you need to do this, you need to do that. This is what I did.
Right.
But not everything is doing it at that degree forever. Like you may need to pay attention and see where it was at its most balanced and try to keep it there, not keep doing the things that are making it progress.
Right.
You know?
And I thought you were going to say something like about how sometimes people see improvements in what they're doing, and so then they double down and like double what they're doing to see the improvement even faster. And
yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
that's another bad thing. But I think even if it isn't that issue, I think you need to just be paying attention the whole time to notice, because things will kind of start to compound on themselves, you know, because once the problem is kind of being eliminated, just having that good factor still there to that amount that you started with can start to be negative just because the problem isn't the same as it was in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But yeah, trying to do more of whatever it is to try to see more results faster is another bad thing. But like I was saying, I mean, you might not even take it that far, and it could still be something that turns into a problem.
Right.
Yeah, you really don't have anything that you try not to eat. That's usually my idea, and it's usually a bad idea. Because I remember when I used to try to lose weight after having celiac, mm-hmm. that I would be really strict all week long. But then I would give myself Friday mm-hmm. to do whatever I wanted. Eat as much pizza as I wanted, drink as many beers as I wanted, you know, all of that. And, you know, that would easily put on 5 to 10 pounds just over the weekend, which pretty much got rid of anything that I did the week before that was so hard. Like, it's so funny how hard it is to lose a pound or 2 during the week while you're, you know, eating vegetables and lean meat and working out. But then, shoot, you can have half a pizza and, like, I don't want to say how many beers, but, you know, you could do that and you could just be like, boom, way back up. But, I mean, for the most part, it would come off within the first day or 2 of getting back into my routine. But I mean, just thinking the abuse on your system
swinging
of
back and
doing
forth.
that. Yeah. Like, why can't it just be a little bit of stuff here and there? Like one piece of pizza on Wednesday instead of, you know, half a pizza on Friday.
Right. Or, one piece of pizza when you have pizza with some salad. Kind of balance it out rather than, you know, restricting it so tight. And then just busting loose.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because just even the thought of doing that now just seems so crazy that I ever thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I've come a long way with my perspective on how it works, because I know at first it was just lower calories. That's all that mattered. It didn't
Mhm.
matter on the quality of food or what it was doing or anything like that. And then I started to notice, like, yeah, this meal plan is telling me I can have this, that, and the other, but it's obviously crappy food.
Right.
Like, big deal that it's low calorie or
Right,
you can
yeah.
have this much of it. I didn't even like it.
Right.
I don't really know when I started to pay attention to actually, like, the nutrient quality of the food. It might have been when I was doing more running, just because you could tell in your performance a little bit better.
Yeah.
And your endurance on the type of food you were having. Like, if you actually wanted to fuel your body, you were actually going to look for something that was more quality of an option than, like having American cheese cooked. That was one of my favorite things, was to cook a piece of crappy American cheese in the pan so that it was, like crispy. So, because I like Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
So, but, that was low carb, right? Doing the cheese, but it tasted the same. But what the heck? I'm like basically eating orange plastic that's toasty.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I started to pay attention to that when I started asking more of my body as like a physical output,
Right.
But then from there, I would say I started to move on from just, this is a good food compared to a junk food, to trying to incorporate other things like herbs and stuff like that, which takes a lot of research. And I would make this mud smoothie that was totally disgusting looking.
Oh, yeah.
And I would put the straw all the way to the back.
Yeah, that was awful.
I would put it all the way to the back of my throat so I could drink it and it wouldn't touch my tongue.
Yeah, that was like the cordyceps and all that stuff. That was pretty bad.
It was, yeah, because it had ashwagandha and cordyceps, and I don't even remember. It was a whole cocktail of things.
Yeah.
It made me feel good, and I wasn't hungry or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, I don't have a problem doing disgusting things like that.
Right.
If I know it's good for me, I don't have a problem doing it. But most people probably wouldn't have put that in their mouth.
No, most people would put it in a gel
smelled
cap
bad.
and swallow it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other way. That was the other thing I could do. But then I have hang-ups on supplements, so...
Well, what's the difference between taking a supplement like that and putting the herbs into a gel capsule versus swallowing it in a smoothie? I mean...
My big hang-up was just knowing the amount of the active ingredient I was looking for in it. Like, some things will have fillers or they won't be good quality. You have to worry about being organic and stuff like that with herbs too. You don't want any kind of pesticides or anything like that having been on them. So I would buy stuff from an herb place and I knew I was getting 100% that ingredient. It wasn't like a mix of this or that or other things to like make a capsule or, something like that. I would just buy bags of these things and I would just measure out like a half a teaspoon or something like that and put it in my stuff every day. Yeah, I mean, because you could buy a supplement from somewhere, but it might not be much of what they're charging you for.
Well, that's true.
But then I don't even do that. My last few jars I haven't even finished. I've got herbs just sitting in my fridge and in my cabinet that I'm like, yeah, I remember you. It takes a lot of effort to mix that every day too, and it's a lot of containers to get out. And that's just not something I got time for right now. I could make little batches of it. I could take the time and like divvy out little containers of it and then just dump it in every day. But honestly, I'm not in the mood to taste those astringent herbs right now.
Totally.
But I should get back into it. But there's a lot of things I should do, and if I don't want to do it, should I do it? I don't know. What do you think about doing stuff like that? You've never really
I'm so bad at routines that like I can't do things every day like that. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and I can take a routine too far that I start to be too, I wouldn't say dependent on it, but I just get to like, this is what I need to do. I need to do it every day. If I can't do it every day, and then it bothers me.
Right.
Like that can work to my advantage, and it can work to my disadvantage depending on what it is. Right. Like, I definitely don't seem to have that problem with exercising. I really, like, for some reason, I can really
Somehow,
just let that one slide.
That one doesn't turn into a routine. Huh?
Right. Yeah, for some reason, it's easier just to put things in my mouth every single day than actually move my body. Yeah, I can get to the point where a routine is too ingrained that it's kind of like what we were saying, like having too much of the same thing or not having enough variety can be just as bad too, you know, because I was basically using that smoothie to replace food. Mm-hmm. So there were lots of, you know, just variety that I wasn't getting because that was always my lunch or something like that. And breakfast was always the same. And then lunch was always the same. The only time I ever really have much of a variant is at dinner. Mm-hmm. And I like to not think about food so much that I'll still start doing the same things all the time with that too. And then that's still not good. You know, it sucks that you want to make it to a thing that's easy to do. You figure out what works and you just do that all the time. Mm. It's not that simple.
It really isn't.
You can't just have the same handful of foods every day and then that's good.
Right.
And then that takes more work and it takes more thought. And it's a pain. If I could just like be an astronaut or something or a future person and all I did was have this drink for breakfast, this drink for lunch, and this drink for dinner, that's fine with me. I don't care.
Yeah, that's the classic, like, monotonous question, right? What's for dinner?
Yeah. And then having to decide with somebody else. Because you
especially when you're both not interested, because it's like, yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Well, I love it when you sound like you're up for anything. You're like, whatever you want, let's just get that. And then I give you like 2 or 3 options, and you're like, no. It's like that's not the arrangement we had here. You said you didn't want to pick nothing. I gave you 3 options, and you were like, no, I don't want any of those.
Usually comes down to I don't want to make that whatever.
That's true because I won't cook.
Right.
For the most part. But that's because if it came down to me cooking or just not eating, I just wouldn't do it. I'd be like, oh yeah, I could probably just drink a cup of water and fill myself up.
Yeah. And
a lot of times I just wait and I'm just not hungry anymore. And who wants to, dinner makes dishes, man. I'd rather have a clean kitchen and no food. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like if I cook things ahead of time and they're easy to grab out of the fridge, that's okay. I don't mind doing like maybe cooking a bunch of chicken or something like that and having it ready. Mm-hmm. But I don't like to cook for every meal. I hate that chore.
Right.
And then another bonus of the stuff already in the fridge and easy to grab is that, you're not dirtying any more dishes. A lot of times it would be like handheld things. I would do too. You could just grab it out, eat it, and there was no dishes even for that. Like stuff that makes like a sandwich and stuff like that. Yeah, just take that, use a napkin, and then move on.
Do something.
What was it like for you growing up about food stuff? My parents were always trying to do diets and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like diets ever at my house. But, when my mom would cook, she'd try to make it healthy. There'd always be a main dish and a vegetable. But a lot of times, it was the same thing where it was like nobody wanted to do the work. So it ended up being fast food or takeout a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back, it seems like it was a lot because we don't ever do it. But I guess a couple times a week.
It seemed like a lot to me when I saw it.
Well, yeah.
But my dad always came home early from work and cooked. And dinner was ready for when my mom came home because she came home later.
Right. And, you came in once we were teenagers, too. So it was like, things were a little different. When we were younger kids, my mom would cook a lot more. But it was very, like, stereotypical can of vegetables, like, box mac and cheese, what meat of the day,
Yeah, my parents, I think a lot of people did the canned stuff and all of that. Growing up. So there were vegetables and things I didn't even know I liked because I had only ever had them canned. You know?
Asparagus.
Yeah, gross.
Like, is there anything worse than canned asparagus?
I know, it comes out looking decomposed already and smelling foul.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's like, no, I don't think I like asparagus.
No.
I mean, the first time I had an actual fresh green bean, I was probably in my 20s.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, wow, this tastes like an actual plant.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is kind of fancy. An actual green bean?
Brussels sprouts get a bad rap.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen them canned. They just get a bad rap.
Yeah, what would they be? Like, they were all wet and soggy when I would get them as a kid. Were they boiled?
I didn't understand that either.
Frozen and then boiled.
Boiled. That's the worst way to cook anything.
Yeah. I think the only fresh produce that was like ever in my house growing up was just like salad fixings. You know, like iceberg lettuce, maybe some tomato. It seemed like you were always making salads. Yeah. But so everything was canned, everything, you know, nothing was fresh. I didn't start doing that until I was older and started cooking for myself. There was a lot of foods I had never tried.
Yeah.
Because I guess, if they didn't come off. And I don't like a lot of prepared stuff, too. Like, anything smushy. Like I wouldn't want already prepared guacamole or already prepared...
that's weird, too. How does it stay
potato
green?
salad and already prepared macaroni salad. Like, anything that was already looked homemade but was already in packaging at the grocery store was never anything.
Yeah, no, there's... Especially things that are easy like that, like guacamole. Like, what do you even have to do? Open an avocado?
Yeah.
It's not even, something that takes effort. You just smush it. What do you...
Right. I know, and then the citrus isn't as good of a flavor. It's not about the food. It's about how you look at it and about how you treat it.
Right.
You know, so like carbs don't have to be bad. They're good. They're fuel. They're quick fuel for your body. But like even just on like lower category of foods is just being like chips and this and that. Like if you don't make it to where it's something you can't have, so when you do have it, you want to have a bunch.
Right. I
mean, you can have just a hand, like thinking of just having a handful of chips sounds a little crazy, but really that's all you're supposed to have. But when you don't make it into a thing where it's like, ooh, it's really bad that I'm having these, or, you know, something like that, it's fine. If it's just a food, it's just a food.
Right.
Foods aren't good and bad, and you're not just good or bad, you know. Eating that food doesn't make you bad. Eating that food doesn't make you good, depending on what it is.
Cause and effect, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when you eat something, you're supposed to understand that when you eat this food, you choose this outcome. Right. Which outcome do you want, a good or a bad one? Sometimes you're not interested in having, you know, a big outcome from it. You know, what if I just stay the same or whatever? If I eat this, that means I might not lose a pound today or this week or whatever. And sometimes that's okay too. You don't always have to be pushing yourself to do the most.
Right.
Because like I said, with like the whole being strict over the week and then having, my big off day on Friday, you know.
Right.
If I just would have maintained a more balanced way through the whole thing, I might have made the same amount of progress, or I might have made a little more or whatever.
Right.
But I think it's really important still to have not jerked your body around like that.
Yeah.
Having it work on such a lean, clean way all week and pushing it and then just eating straight junk.
Right, yeah. It's always easier to just maintain a steady pace than to start and stop over and over again. Right.
But then at the same time, when you're trying to make progress, you try to look at like all the little things that you could do to make it happen. And then so if I wanted to have pizza this night, you know, how about I just have a salad with some turkey instead, you know? And then so that kind of, it'll keep going until you've made the pizza such a bad thing that, you know, you really go after it.
Well, it's really important when you look at all those little things that you could do to optimize your diet or whatever. you need to be honest with yourself and say, what of these can I really accomplish? What can I really do without killing myself? Not killing yourself, but you know what I mean.
Having to punish yourself with overworking out or something like that on top of it?
Yeah, without, like, restricting yourself so much that you're going to blow up. You really need to know yourself and what's going to trigger you to do what.
Right, yeah, because having off-limit stuff makes me go off the deep end here and there. And I've been just eating what I wanted, making good choices more often than not, and I've kept a steady pace of going. And there hasn't been yo-yoing or anything like that, and I don't feel any like urges or anything that like I need to have this cookie or anything like that. And I've bought stuff that looked good that I thought I'd want, and I've had it here and had access to it, and I look at the nutrition information on it and I'm just like, wow, it's just not really worth it. And it's my choice. It's not me thinking that's what I should do.
Right.
And it seems like that's a difference too. And it's something you really want to do and it's actually your choice to not do it, it's fine. But if you're doing it because you think you shouldn't do it, that's a whole different story. Because then you will...
Right, because in a way you're telling yourself that you do want to do it. Even if you maybe don't. You're like, I shouldn't do that. It's just saying like that, it's like, in a way you're saying, I want to do that.
Yeah, right. Because I know that I would look forward to that off day way too much. Almost trying to think of all the things that you want to eat.
Right.
Like almost too much food that you can even eat in a day.
And then you
it's
get
so
to that
weird.
day and it's like, oh my God, what was I even thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so full now, or I feel so sick now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why are you looking forward to that?
Mm-hmm.
You've done this for a few weeks in a row. Why is this still something that you think is a good idea?
Yeah, and then by next Saturday, you're like, oh, I'm going to get
this because all I've had was like chicken and a freaking salad every day. That I'm like, can I please have something with some flavor?
Right.
But see, it's so easy to do because I don't like to cook.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it's so funny that I really don't care about the food and I don't mind, like having a salad with just some meat on it. But I guess I just get tired of having something boring too. I didn't cook the stuff that I had on the bad day either. That was just takeout or something.
Right.
But yeah, it seemed like I would use that as like motivation to get more miles when I was running and stuff like that. Like, oh, if I know I'm going to eat this much, I might as well run another couple miles today, to help kind of make up for it and stuff. And I don't really think that works out either.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole mindset either of, well, I ran this and that, so I get to eat this. Like, I mean, so many people do that, like...
That is something, yeah, I'm exactly the opposite.
Because, I mean, the math doesn't add up, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you run an extra half an hour on a treadmill, it's, what, a couple hundred calories? You eat one freaking cookie, it's like, that's like the same amount of calories. You can't really...
Yeah, because you could be one of two types of people when it comes to that. The person who's doing the extra to earn themselves more of a treat, or the person that I'm more like, where as if I go through the pain and, being uncomfortable doing that workout,
right,
that I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
So then I run into the problem of if I'm not working out, I'm not being reminded of how it feels to work out.
Right.
And so, because, when you're working out and you're getting sweaty and you're getting a little frustrated and things are uncomfortable and you're getting a little, like, irritated with just, like, the difficulty of doing it and having to do it and, like, the muscle burn and all that, that makes me think it's not worth it to have the extra thing. And so having a routine of doing that helps me keep my eating on track. But if I'm not doing that and I'm just hanging out or just sitting around, eating that bad food doesn't seem to have as much of a result, that I need to worry about. But if I know if I eat this, I need to work out more, or that I just worked out and it was difficult, why would I want to put something in me that would make me have to work out more? I don't really see it as me burning calories to a deficit that allows me to have the thing. Right. I look at it more like, dang, is this going to make me have to work out, a little bit harder for having done this? And if I'm not working out, then it's just like, oh, big deal. I'll have 3 cookies instead of 2, Mm-hmm. I haven't been in the routine of working out. I think that's gotten me to a point where I just had to buckle down and look at what I was eating more, because the exercise makes it easy for me to look at what's good or what's a bad choice, Mm-hmm. If I'm not doing that, I really have to pay attention to what I'm doing, because otherwise I'll just be like, oh yeah, I want to eat that just because. After I hurt my tailbone, it's taken a lot for me to want to work out because I'm afraid I'm going to hurt it. And so then from when I did that last year, I gained like 50 pounds easily just because of that. Because I can get into a routine of where I'm working out and things are okay, I might not be working out a whole lot, some days or whatever, but I try to keep it, somewhat, just keep going.
Right.
Yeah, if I've got a period where I just don't, I'll just gain weight.
Right.
If I know I can't eat the same portions as most people. I know it, but I don't always do it.
Right.
And then I can gain weight easy and I can lose weight easy. And it just comes down to my choice, basically, which, I know I have to deal with myself on that, because I don't have anything where I can, say this is, I have this condition that this or that, you know what I mean?
Right.
I know it is 100% me. I accept that. Yeah. It's all Lindsay's fault. Whatever's happening. But I used to not believe the whole thing where people said it matters more what you eat than how much you exercise. I was always really big on exercising. So I always thought no, that can't be true. Right. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all what you eat, but doesn't it have to, if you're using your body and you're burning calories, isn't that more important than what you're putting in? You can really just eat lower calories and you'll lose weight. I don't know. I guess it had more to do with body shape is what I was more worried about, because you could be skinnier, but it doesn't mean your body's in better condition. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I always thought exercise
for me, physical activities always, the more physical activity I do, the better shape I'll be in.
Yeah, but see, what I'm saying is some people, I just thought that I could put whatever I wanted in my mouth and I could take care of it with exercising.
Okay. That's
what I mean.
Yeah.
Why would I just want to have a banana at breakfast and this or that when I could eat so much more, but then just
work it off?
Yeah, exercise. With the whole thing about hurting my tailbone and stuff, there was no way. For the first few months, there was no way I was going to do any kind of exercise because it was so hurt.
I mean, you couldn't even sit on the floor.
Yeah. So, the floor, a chair, let alone the floor. I couldn't even sit on the bed. I felt it when I walked. It was bad.
Well, I'm saying there was no way you were doing any yoga.
No, I wasn't going to do any yoga. I was so afraid of squats or anything that used my butt because I could feel it in there. It was so tender. Having that injury and not being able to work out made me have to pay attention to what I was eating more. And it's been working. It's been working for me. I still haven't been working out very much. It's just whatever my activity is during the day, which is more than, it's not just like a desk job or anything like that. I have to walk around and I have to be moving and, moving stuff and things like that. So there is some physical activity in it, but I know ideally make me happy, I would still be coming home and doing some kind of, at least Pilates or something like that. I do think it's important to move your body in a way that, that'll burn calories. I don't know. I do think it's important to have a strong body.
Right.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to do that, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm trying to work myself back into it, but it's only meant on the mental level so far of even thinking about it, because I feel like I need to do that, but I don't really want to do it. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, once I'm off work, I want to be left alone, and like that's just another thing to do.
Yeah, that's an easy trap too, is the whole working all day and coming home and
but it's like, it's really for you. Like, it's like a treat for you, honestly. But how much do I believe that if I don't do it? Yeah, so either way, I know I should be doing that. And I try to give myself just like little things to do that still counts. Like my doing stuff at work counts toward my exercising. Every morning I wake up and I do my deep breathing and my dry brushing. And I heard something about like dry brushing is equivalent to doing some kind of exercise, right? Come on. I like running, I don't know how many miles.
Yeah, sure.
But still, it's, it gets your limbs moving and helps drain that fluid and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And you need to do that manually. You have to do it through physical activity. Your lymphatic system doesn't just do that on its own. You have to stimulate it.
Right.
So I'm like, that's my taking care of myself. Because if I don't have little things that I do, then I won't take care of myself at all.
Well, right.
It snowballs.
Even if there wasn't like lymphs releasing fluids or whatever, it's at least a meditative moment, which, that
like, makes you focus
really
on your body.
You down and like centers yourself. So it's guaranteed positive.
Yeah, exactly. To what degree? Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it helps me take a minute to, I guess, meditate, which that's probably the closest thing that I would ever do to meditating. I still need to, get on that level. Mm. I'm not a massage or meditate person, but I think it basically is, because my deep breathing, I just lay there and don't think.
Right.
And do that. And then the dry brush. So then I've taken time to focus on myself and my body and gotten to like, done a positive thing for myself. I've started with doing a positive thing that isn't, I should wake up before work and work out for just half an hour. It's no big deal, right? I never want to wake up early to do that. I don't know. Something about just knowing that I have to go and work. Like, if I didn't have to go to work, I'd get up early and work out, no problem. But it's like, I don't know. I need time to ignore the fact that I have to do that. Like, getting up earlier just makes it seem like it's gonna happen sooner. But either way, I wake up early for the dry brushing and the deep breathing. And all I have to do is stay in bed to do it. So it's like, I don't have to hop right up and start getting ready for work, and that's all I've done, and thought about all day so far. So that's nice. You still just wake right up.
Yeah,
and get going.
I don't like waiting around to do things. It gives me time to dread it.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's why I don't like to get up to work out like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I can't wait to go to work. You know what I mean? Like, waiting really, like, makes me not want to do it.
But I like feeling like I have extra time to, like, drink my cup of coffee slow in the morning and stuff like that. I like to feel like I don't have to run and go do it right now. But see, you can't.
In a way, it makes me feel like I'm getting work out of the way. You know what I mean? Mm. Then I can have my time after work. Get that out of the way.
But then on the days where you're the only one that needs to get up, we don't get up and have coffee. And that sucks.
Yeah.
But I could get up and start making the coffee.
Yeah.
But if you're not getting up, I'm not getting up. All right. Well, I guess that's the end. How should I say it?
I don't know.
All right. Well, that ought to do it for this week. Thanks for listening. See you next time.